We're going back to match week 23 and a red card given to Miles Lewis-Skelly in Arsenal's win at Wolves.
Red card, mate.
Red card on Piers.
Red card on the ankle. Serious red card. Serious foul.
Just checking the red card for serious foul play. Okay, it's going for serious foul play, not dogs though. Okay, for me, I think the contact's on the top of the foot.
Got another I think he catches him on the side of the ankle first. It glances off the side of the ankle down onto the foot.
Just there, yeah.
So the first impact is more that Achilles area.
Achilles on the shin. Pause on point contact, please.
Yeah. With no chance of playing the ball.
So it's high up above the ankle, then it comes back down.
Yep.
Okay, we've got some confrontation as well here. Okay, just get me the number, please.
Yep.
It's number 49, Lewis-Skelly.
49, yeah, Lewis-Skelly, yeah. Michael?
Yes.
Confirming the on-field decision of red card for serious foul play for Miles Skelly, away 49. Check complete.
Right, Howard, this one caused, a big storm, a lot of debate. I personally thought, I was doing the game actually, and I thought yellow card when I first saw it. I thought he was just breaking up an attack, really, a bit cynical, but I didn't think there was any aggression in it. What's your take on it?
Yeah, you're right. It caused a lot of noise, this one, didn't it? Not all in a normal or good way as well. From the outset, I want to say we would prefer a yellow card in this situation. Clearly, the referee on the day felt that the actions of Miles Lewis-Skelly were serious foul play. He saw a player moving in towards an opponent without any ability to play the ball, without any intention of playing the ball, with the intention of stopping the opponent, and the referee sees a raised foot make high contact and then the opponent go down. So in his opinion, it was serious foul play. The VAR checked the footage to see whether that decision was clearly and obviously wrong and determined that it wasn't, seeing that contact that was quite high on the leg. But of course, we know that for serious foul play, we need excessive force or brutality. And what we see here is that high contact glancing and coming off the leg quite quickly. So for that reason, everybody pretty much in the game has formed the same conclusion that we now form, that this is falling short of serious foul play because of that glancing contact, because the studs don't really go right into the leg, they glance it before coming down onto the foot. So there are some considerations that might support a red card, but there's a whole host of others that say it's not quite there, and therefore, on balance, we'd rather this have been a yellow card. And the VAR actually to intervene. The VAR didn't want to re-referee the situation. We're mindful of referee's call standing, unless it's clearly and obviously wrong. The VAR felt it wasn't at that level on the day and decided to leave it as a red card on the field.
Yeah. I mean, when I see it, actually, I've spoke to a lot of people, and a fair few people do think it was actually a red card. And the more I see it, the more I sort of... When I first saw it, I thought it's a yellow card and nothing more. But when you see it like that, I mean, there is studs. It is high. It's in quite a dangerous position, actually. I don't think at all that there's been anything... He's not trying to hurt him. I think he's simply trying to bring him down. So I agree with you. There's no violence in it, really. But there are studs, and it is quite high. And I can understand... What I can't understand is people thinking, no, definite yellow card, and not being a little bit open-minded, because, as I say, there are a lot of people that think that's a red. I think it's a yellow, but can you understand why there are some people that do strongly think that's a red?
Yeah, and I've heard this described as like a really horrendous officiating decision. It's not. I understand why the referee saw this on the day for as a serious foul play action. We have to be careful about slowing things down and freeze-framing things. Yeah. We've talked about not doing that. It can distort reality, so we have to look at it in full speed. We know that's important, and when you look at it in full speed, it is glancing. It does come off quite quickly, but it's an understandable on-field decision. Yeah, in hindsight, we think the VAR should have got involved, but I can equally kind of understand why that didn't happen in the moment. Well, we listen to the game, we feed back to the officials to try to ensure that we're in line with the expectations of the game in the way we judge these things. OK, so we both agree that it's a yellow, or it should have been a yellow. What was your reaction to the reaction after the game? Really disappointing. We know criticism comes our way. It's part and parcel of the job. Everybody on the field gets criticised to some extent. Managers do as well. But there's a line, isn't there? And nobody should be subject to threats. Their families shouldn't be subject to threats, whether that be officials, players. We've seen all participants being exposed to that sort of thing. So really disappointing in that respect. People won't always agree with the decision. Yes, they can criticise where they feel that's justifiable, but not to the level that we saw with this situation that led to threats against the referee, the officials in this game and their families. Wholly unacceptable.
Yeah, no, I think we all agree with that.
Teta mentioned it in his presser about Marino, and again, I think what people are saying is like he's a very similar profile to Havertz. He's a big guy, he's technically strong, good in the air, you know, you can play up to him and he'll hold the ball. And so I suppose in that way, it's easy being correct in hindsight, but it's a more natural fit and it looks a better fit for the team than certainly Trossard and Sterling in there, who it never quite connected with them. I mean, the threat really was Waneri on the right-hand side, who I have to say is an incredible talent.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. But I think when you're looking at this game against Leicester, and you have to bear in mind the opposition as well, is that you're going to play a team. You're playing a team that's trying to stay in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Arsenal are on another level to them. So what you have to do, and I've been in this position before, you have to give up a certain area of the pitch. So Leicester are like, okay, we'll give you the width.
Yeah.
We'll give you the width. You can put as many crosses as you want. And then with all the goodwill in the world, if you've got Trossard, if you've got Sterling, or if you've got Waneri, they're the lads that are going to be attacking the crosses that are going to come into the box. It becomes a problem. Yeah. And I think Arteta looked at that and went, right, okay, we have Marino, 6'2". Yes, he's the closest to Havertz that they've got. The players are comfortable in the way that Havertz plays. So bring a player that can play that type of style as a centre forward. But not just that, we can take advantage of the space that we've got out wide. And it's no surprise that both the goals he scored came from crosses.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's one of those situations like it could be like whether luck or design. You know, Marino now till the end of the season might give them a whole different look. I just wanted to go back on Raheem Sterling because we talked a little bit about him on Friday, and you know, 30 years of age, you still feel, you know, when you see Jamie Vardy is 38 now for playing for Leicester and still flying around a football pitch. But for Raheem Sterling, who's won, I think, 4 titles and domestic cups and the likes, wasn't obviously part of the Champions League there, but has won so much and done so much in his career. I'm just trying to think about him, you know, the realisation, Dan, that all pros have at some time in your career where you realise you're not going to be able to be playing at the level you were and the way you were because things have caught up on you. And now Raheem Sterling started very early in his career, and I always remember somebody telling me, well, coach, back in the day, you only have so many games in your body, and if you start too early sometimes you can be done by 30, and if you start a bit later or sometimes you have that a bit of an extended period. And I just wondered, like with Raheem Sterling and that feeling, you know, just trying to explain to maybe some of our listeners and that, the effects of you know, the realisation and the knowledge that, you know, those great days are probably all gone now.
It's so difficult because as former players, you know, unless you've had your career finished through injury, we've all been there. And, you know, from Raheem Sterling's situation, is it the fact of that he's not playing on a consistent basis? Is it the fact of, you know, like you quite rightly said, he started so young? But if it is that point where his body now is changing, the worst thing for any footballer is that your head is telling your body to do something that it can't do anymore.
Listen, it may not be, and there may be 4, 5, 6 good years left of playing at the top level, but I just thought watching him and seeing him in his body movement, as you say, it wasn't an easy watch for him. It was a bit frustrating at times, and obviously, you know, his face when he came off, and then Marino comes on, and I'm sure he's delighted that he's part of an Arsenal win, but, you know, not playing your part yourself, we all know, is one of those things. So, listen, he may have a role to play off the bench. There still might be some high notes for Raheem Sterling on his career, but certainly a good day in the end for Arsenal, and maybe they found a striker. Maybe Mikel Marino saved them $70-80 million, which he would have spent on the window and the striker, but let's wait and see. But I heard Arteta after the game just saying, like, they really enjoying the challenge, and it's their job to keep Liverpool honest. And I thought those were really two really honest, frank things to say. I mean, they've just got to keep going and hope. You know, these next 3 games for for Liverpool, Villa City and Newcastle, you know, there could be a little bit of danger there. And Tim was pretty strong today. He said, I don't think they'll get maximum points from those 3 games. And if they don't, you know, Arsenal have got to be ready to jump.
Referees chief Howard Webb says Michael Oliver was wrong to send off Arsenal's Miles Lewis-Skelly during their Premier League win at Wolves. Arsenal were fined $65,000 for failing to control their players during the incident in which 18-year-old Lewis-Skelly was shown a straight red card for a foul on Matt Doherty in a 1-0 win at Molino on the 25th of January. Video assistant referee VAR Darren England upheld referee Oliver's decision that Lewis-Skelly committed serious foul play. The Gunners appealed against the decision and the teenager's 3-match ban was subsequently overturned. Former England captain Alan Shearer, speaking on BBC Match of the Day, said at the time the sending off was one of the worst decisions I've seen in a long time. Speaking on the latest episode of Match Officials Mic'd Up, a Premier League Productions programme which analyses VAR decisions from previous game weeks, Webb said while the officials got the decision wrong, it was not a horrendous one to make. From the outset, we would prefer a yellow card in this situation, added Webb. I've heard this described as a really horrendous officiating decision. It's not. I understand why the referee saw this on the day as a serious foul play action. Lewis-Skelly was dismissed for catching Doherty above the ankle with a late tackle to break up a counter-attack just outside the Wolves' box in the 43rd minute when the game was goalless. Aged 18 years and 121 days at the time, Lewis-Skelly became the 3rd youngest player to be sent off in the Premier League, behind Wayne Rooney and Michael Owen. It's split opinion, with former Premier League referee Mike Dean telling Sky Sports when you see a still image you understand what he has done. He has put his studs down his leg for serious foul play. Scraped down the Achilles. But former Chelsea and Scotland winger Pat Nevin said he was stunned by the red card. Miles Lewis-Skelly is only 10 yards outside the opposition's box, added Nevin. It must be for violent conduct, but that doesn't look like violent conduct. It's a cynical trip. I have never seen that in my life. I am stunned by a red card. After the match, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta told Match of the Day the decision was so obvious that today you don't need my words. I am absolutely fuming, but I leave it with you, he said to Sky Sports. Because it is that obvious, I don't think my words are going to help.